To talk about a new report that has urged the UK to produce more artificially created meat as a more sustainable food source for the country. Now, this study was carried out by the Adam Smith Institute, and it says that moving away from an intensive meat farming industry would reduce greenhouse emissions by up to a whopping 96%. Well, the question we're asking this morning is lab-grown meat the food of the future? Well, here to talk it over, we have Abby Aspen, who is the founder of the Future Farm Lab. She joins us via Skype in Cornwall, and here in the studio alongside me, Sam Calvert from the Vegan Society. Good morning to you both. Abby, I'll come to you first if I can. When we talk about lab-grown meat, what do we mean? What is it?
It depends who's making it, to be honest, but my research involved taking cow muscle stem cells and putting them in a growth medium, so like a nutrient-rich broth between two anchor points. We use Velcro. You could use anything with a big stabby bit on the end, and then they would elongate and basically form muscle fibres or fibroids. But different people have different ways of making it, and it's quite hard because a lot of information is now within businesses instead of sort of open source research. So it's quite hard to tell how everyone's making it, but that's sort of the classical approach to tissue engineering for muscle.
So this isn't fake meat, this is real meat, just created in a different way. So it's not going to be for vegans or vegetarians?
Depends why someone's vegan and vegetarian, to be honest. Depends whether it's ethical, environmental, a mixture of all of them. So, yeah, if you don't eat meat because you don't like the fact that it comes from an animal at its source, then no, it's not particularly for you. But if you do it for looking at environmental considerations, or you don't like the killing of an animal, which at the moment you still need to do to make lab-grown meat, but maybe in the future you won't. So it depends whether you're vegetarian or vegan, to be honest. OK, well, let's bring in Dr. Sam Calvert from the Vegan Society.
It's an interesting idea, this, and we've heard the reasons behind it. It's to help the environment, it's to stop the intensive farming of meat, because many vegans do give up meat because of the process of what it takes to get it onto our plates. Would this appeal to them?
I think, as Abby quite rightly said, it does depend on why someone is following a vegan or a plant-based diet. But we tend to understand in the UK veganism as being a concern for the welfare of animals, but more particularly the rights of animals. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're concerned about animal suffering, then even currently, as the situation stands, animals have to be used to create the lab-grown meat. So you have to use a cell taken from a live animal. Obviously, that animal has to be kept in some sort of conditions, although admittedly they could be better than factory farming. And you also have to use a growth medium. Often the growth medium is calf's fetal blood. So there's those two issues. There are other things that might be used to stabilise it, which wouldn't be vegan. Xanthan gum, collagen powder, cochineal. None of those things would be vegan.
I mean, you're not making my stomach rumble, put it that way, Sam. Abby, what does this taste like? Because that's what we all want to know.
I've never tasted it, and I kind of had no intention to, because that's kind of not why I did it. I follow predominantly plant-based. I kind of eat a lot of plants, and then every so often eat offal because I'm a lady, and it's pretty all right to eat some offal every so often, I think, and waste and stuff.
But you wouldn't eat lab-grown meat?
No, like offal is a waste more than anything. But that's sort of another story. But so I don't know. I know a few people have tasted it, and it doesn't taste of a huge amount because the amount you could eat was like this amount. And also it's really hard to determine how it tastes, because what you grow in the lab and then what you add to it to make it taste like a processed meat are two quite different things. So actually pinpointing what lab meat itself tastes like is probably not a huge amount.
But presumably the idea is to get it tasting as close to, I don't know, organically reared steak or beef, you know, that you buy in the supermarket.
Yeah, the end game, I suppose, was to create what is to kind of combat industrial agriculture, right? So what kind of pushes that is whole carcass meats, so things like steak and chicken breast and that sort of thing. Processed meats are often made from the offcuts anyway, so it's like making a processed meat is not solving the overall problem. Yeah. And you can add a lot to it, make it taste like that. But yeah, so steak, I suppose, is the ultimate goal, and that's what I worked on. But that's far. That's a really big.
Well, if you don't like the sound of lab-grown meat, Sam, but you do like the idea of, you know, reducing the environmental impact and, you know, helping animal welfare, what are the alternative options that people are turning to? Because it's not just lab-grown meat that's in development at the moment.
No, and in fact, already in the supermarkets, you can buy products that are trying very hard to replicate meat. So I think, you know, for 10, 20 years, we've had products such as mycoprotein under the brand name Quorn in the UK, also textured soya protein or textured vegetable protein. Those things have been made into burgers. A lot of meat eaters will say, well, they're nothing like meat and I don't need them.
Is it healthier for you?
Potentially. It's certainly probably not as bad for you as red meat, but it does depend on how much fat they've put in those products. There's a new generation, though, of products which are in supermarkets now where they're using things like beetroot blood, beetroot to create blood so that you've got a redder burger. They're trying more closely to replicate the taste and texture and look of meat. So there is a kind of move towards trying to do some of this, which again, hopefully will help people to at least reduce their meat consumption and we hope eventually feel that they don't need to eat meat.
OK, it's fascinating. As I said, it hasn't got my stomach rumbling yet, but I suppose once it gets from the lab through to your plate and they dress it up, maybe I'll be in the market for it. Abby Aspin, thank you very much, and Dr. Sam Calvert from the Vegan Society.